Tourist accused of blasphemy killed by mob in Bradford. Oh, sorry, did I say Brad Alabad there? My mistake. They just look a bit similar these days. And incidentally, last time I went to a football game in Bradford, I also witnessed someone being kicked to death for using the Lord's name in vain. However, not to worry. You might think the Bootneck was going to melt down over a story like this. Such appalling, uncivilised behaviour, being a lifelong sort of agnostic atheist chap who spent all of his teens and 20s as a liberal, and therefore responding to the overreach of preachers and religious zealots with anger and fury. But all of a sudden, about 2016 time, the people that called themselves liberal and insisted that they cared about the rights for people to live free without being under the constraints of religious zealots because they think, I don't know, certain things are against God and therefore you have to join in with their prohibitions even if you don't agree with them. Yeah, those people who talk loud and long about how they cared about my individual liberty. The second, a very similar theology, which is a little bit more aggressive, well, far more aggressive. The second, a very similar ideology, was practiced by people who don't look like pasty gingers from Aberdeen. All of a sudden it became cool and trendy to defend the people that promote religious intolerance. So I'm a bit confused about this one. I don't know whether I should be for or against this type of behaviour. I'll tell you what, I'll just quote Barack Obama, shall I? Why Obama invoked the Crusades and what it says about how he views terrorism. Yeah, that settled it. 9/11 had nothing to do with the religion of the people that were willing to self-terminate, driven by their religious lust to do murder. It had nothing to do with the religion that they were very strict adherents of. And you know what it really had loads to do with? Christianity. So, before we get started, can I just say, right off the bat, inspired by Mr. Obama, this isn't an act of grotesque murder against an innocent tourist. Really, it's a tolerant and reasonable act, and if there is any blame, it should be laid at the door of devout Christians in Yorkshire. That makes loads of sense. Okay, you know what's going on here. Same old thing. A religious ideology that has barely changed in 1,000 years. And we want to keep importing it because the same people that criticise boring, tolerant, reasonable vicars in the leafy shires of England, the same people that criticise them and call them backwards are in love with the people that kick you to death if you politely disagree with them. Makes loads of sense, doesn't it? Yeah, brilliant. A tourist has been dragged from a police station and killed by a mob in northwest, we'll just call it Scotland, shall we? After being accused of blasphemy. The police had been attempting to protect the man from the large group in the town of Madian, a town in the Swat district. The mob gathered after the man was accused of desecrating that holy book that you're not allowed to say anything bad about on Thursday. Lynchings are not uncommon after an accusation of blasphemy, which is punishable by death in the obvious. You know what? I think this type of thing is such an advertisement for the tolerance of the religion of peace. I think what we should do is we should find all the blokes who did this and then import them all to Luton and give them all a council house. And then the ones who claim to be children, even though they're like 35, we should put them in maths classes with your kids because there'll be a great, moderating influence on them. Bless the cotton socks. A Christian man was attacked last month after being accused of burning some pages, dying shortly afterwards. They're even whitewashing the story, aren't they? He was attacked and then he died shortly afterwards. No, he was murdered. He was kicked to bits by a mob because they disagreed with his religion of choice. BBC. Call it what it is. It's religiously motivated murder by maniacal religious zealots that you think we should be importing by the million to Western Europe. Fantastic idea. I'm right on board with that. It makes me laugh, actually, because growing up in the 20s and listening to people like Richard Dawkins, who I used to admire and respect immensely, and now he's just a pathetic shell of a man, it makes me laugh because they went on a crusade to kill Christianity, thinking the world was going to move into a better place if everybody in the world was agnostic or atheist. And now they've killed Christianity. But like Nietzsche said, something has to fill the void. And you know what's going to fill it? Yeah, well, you know what's going to fill it. And to be honest, I've read The Camp of the Saints. I'm not too worried because I'm a hairy-ass bloke. I'm not too bothered. It won't be that bad for me. Yeah, I'll have more than one mother-in-law and I won't be allowed to have a beer in the street, but I can fake the praying and drink home-brewed moonshine in me cellar. It won't be that bad for me. But you know who it's going to be bad for? Laurie Penny, Afua Hirsch, all the 4B2s, all the Guardian readers, all the BBC journalists, Owen Jones. I mean, a lesser man would actually go, whoa, that sounds pretty good. Bring on the conversion of Europe. Bring it on. I reckon I'll be all right. Probably not going to work out so good for you lot though, is it, lads? The very definition of the term useful idiots. Because the people that are promoting it and importing tens of millions of them, they're going to be the first ones in bother. Me, I'll just fake a conversion, get myself 5 or 6 much younger, more attractive wives, and get pissed in the cellar by myself. Probably won't be that bad for me, but I reckon Owen Jones is going to have a short, sharp shock. I wonder if the realisation will come to him as fast as the ground does when they fling him off the top of the Shard. But that's just what I think. If you think everything I've just said is completely upside down and Owen Jones is going to end up king of Eurabia, let me know in the comments so I can read the comment and then quickly determine that I'm reading the ramblings of a madman. Okay, thanks for tuning in. I'll be back for a live stream tomorrow at 7 PM UK. Be there or be square. And I might even give something away to you tasteful chaps that follow me. And ladies, obviously. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.